So that brings us to the Innovation Award. 2 years ago, we promised an Innovation Award. It took a bit longer. But yeah, that's next on the program. So we had 3 applications. 2 of them qualified according to us. We had 6 people from our team and outside to be the judge. To remind you, the criteria were demonstrable impact on the welfare of the catch, of course. Also the degree of novelty and originality of the innovation. And also really important for us, the socio-economic benefits and contributions to the fishing industry or community. So we had a look at all of them. One didn't qualify because it had to be from the last 3 years and to qualify as an innovation. But 2 did, and yeah, we had a look at it and scored it for the criteria. So that was the Nephrops Stunning Tailing Machine, not a stranger to a lot of us, that project. Mike, do you want to say something about the scores and what you like most about this idea?
The scores?
The scores, yeah. Why? Well, I can do it too. So the welfare impact was considered to be good because it's about a lot of animals. When we talk about nephrops, for the people who are not familiar with the term nephrops, it's the animal that's on the back of some of the t-shirts. It's, it's a langoustine or Norwegian lobster.
From where to where did the score go? 1 to 6 or?
Good question. Very good question, Faust, as usual. So this is 1 to 5, and this is just the sum of before, okay? So as you can see, it's pretty good. Yeah, so these were the scores. Novelty 3.5 and socioeconomic 3.3, because it does help the fishermen with their workload as well, which is very nice. Then there was another application as well, which was whale-safe on-demand fishing gear. So that's a pot that comes up on demand. We have a presentation about that later, so you'll learn all about it. And there, the score was as following. So you see, it's a very close call, but the Nephrops Tailing Machine won the Innovation Award. So I would like to invite... I would like to invite the whole consortium, and I know it's pretty big, and I know you're in here. Kara, I think the person next to it had something to do with it as well. Optima, you know who you are. Get on stage. Amaya.
Don't be shy. Who's
The award. Mike, you'd like to say a couple of words?
Yes, actually. So when we were voting for this, I had to recuse myself because I've been keeping a close eye on this from 2-3 years ago. When was it? When did you literally drag me into that meeting?
2.5 years.
2.5 years ago in Aberdeen. Oh, well, yeah, and it's one. This is actually one of the inspirational stories, which we did talk about in the first conference. But this is the sort of innovation that the industry is going to need. This wasn't driven by researchers. It wasn't driven by policymakers. It was driven by the industry, saying we've got a real problem. Didn't you, Tom? Where's Tom? Why? Come on, Tom.
Tom.
So Tom and others had identified a real problem in a particular Nephrops fishery, relatively small scale, off the west, well, between the west coast of Scotland and Ireland, and so they basically got together and said this is not only a welfare issue, it was a staffing issue and a welfare of the fishermen issue. So it covers the board. That's why it got high scores across the board. And I've been inspired by what you guys have pulled together. So Kara, you've led it. You've been kicking people along the street and dragging people into meetings. And it's been truly inspirational. So well done, all of you. This is well deserved.
So, of course, you're all curious what it is about now. Some people know the story and some don't. And Kara will tell you all about it now.
Am I given a...
Is the handheld here? Yes, it's here.
Hans has been keeping it warm for you.
Handheld on, yeah?
Some of that one?
Floor
And I
is
need a-
yours.
Thank you very much, everybody. Now, and thanks to you, because you have driven this project. You've allowed us to talk about this project on a few occasions. So I'm, with thanks to colleagues Lynn and Linda, speaking at the last event. So I'm not going to bore you with details, but I am going to be speaking to the people who have made this possible, Optimar, at the end of this. So you will hear what a joint event, a joint project this has been. It's not about FIS at all, but I do want to shout out to the board members of FIS who pay my wages and who allow us to leverage money. We've leveraged more than £3.5 million over the last few years for these sort of projects. And everything we do is pre-competitive, business benefits for industry, and it's about allowing the industry itself to find the responses to either problems or solutions, or where we know we have to do better, but who better than the industry themselves to work out what is economically viable, technically viable, and most importantly, when we're working at sea, safe. And that's what we've done. Right, do I press that one? There we go. Yeah, so you stole my thunder. I was going to get everybody to stand up and hurrah, but that's brilliant, thank you. So 2.5 years ago, in a wee cafe at the Scottish Skipper Expo, a group of people came and said, could FIS help us bring these things, this project together? We knew what we needed to do. As we say, a stunning and tailing machine that could withstand everything that a small Scottish or English or Northern Irish vessel could throw at it. Because of the scampi market, which is really important for us in the UK. It's a UK supply chain. It's an affordable species, affordable product that is fed to lots of families. It's quite iconic in our pubs in the UK. But it's a market that originates in quite diverse and disadvantaged communities. So we want to make sure that we can help the fishermen in these communities that catch nephrops for the scampi market, that they can withstand these changes in regulation and governance. That's what we're here for. It's not just about welfare. I know that's important, but it's also about a better job. It's about making it more efficient and better working conditions, better economy, so that we can bolster some of these vulnerable communities. So the economic aspect of this project is really, really important for us. And we have had success in it, thanks to leadership from Optimar. I'm going to ask them a question about how horrific it has been working with us lot for the last few years. But we have managed to have the first at-sea test of a prototype machine in a way that can keep the skippers happy and the crew happy, and to make sure that you're ending up with a product that keeps the supply chain happy. So it's not just about chopping heads off. I've been told off by Lars and others saying, so when we chop the heads off, no, we don't just chop the heads off. So it is very much about how to keep that premium quality and the efficiency of it. So it's all important. But we've had to take it slow. It has started a conversation about welfare in places that it hasn't. That has not always been welcomed, as you will all know. But we've made sure that when there is a conversation, that our fishermen and processors are at the centre of that conversation. So people would say, oh, don't open that door, don't talk about it. We're talking about how to make sure the response is safe and has business benefits. So we've talked about it in Parliament. We've had lots of media. Globally, this project has, I think, helped have really sensible conversations about how this can't be rushed. We have spent hours on Zoom calls. We have had to start trusting each other. Pre-competitive innovation is difficult, but it's the only thing that will work, and this is where we've got to at this point. We had funding from an English pot of money. We've had to cut our cloth, as we say in Scotland, with what money is available. I have to give a shout out to the Shrimp Welfare Project. They're the only non-industry body that put their hands in their pockets that have helped fund this project. All of the industry partners had to give a little bit of money so we could match fund government funding. That is really important. This all costs money. We now have money from the Irish government, the Northern Irish government, to do the next phase of the project, which is to take the prototype and make it into a fully functioning, efficient machine, which we will test at sea in March next year. And I wanted to read a quote from the Northern Irish Fishing Ministry, who said, "We really applaud the industry in coming together to resolve such matters through the introduction of new technology to address the process of Nephrops handling on board, which has not changed in decades." And I have to say that we've not had a lot of money. Everything to date we've done for under £300,000 and 2.5 years. So I think together that's been quite an achievement. And let me show you what Optimar has managed to do so far. This is just a very little bit of... Right. Lars and Martin will explain more, I'm sure, but I just wanted to show the kind of technologies that we've managed to get to this point. So far so good, but I am from the west of Scotland. We are a very pessimistic race. I would rather not be standing here at this point. I hope to be standing here in front of you in a year's time to say that it has all worked and we're happy. There is lots of work to do. And it's only through the interaction between Darren McClements, who's the skipper of this vessel here, that we're testing with, Darren and colleagues speaking to Lars and Martin from Optimar to try and troubleshoot problems that are coming up all the time. So when the animals cling to each other before they go through the stunner, for example. We don't want to try and solve one welfare problem, actually to introduce a new welfare problem. Also, we have to get the selectivity at the time of catch sorted. Just because we're trying to solve the problem of welfare, we still have all the other problems to try and solve. It's a big project, lots of different things, lots of different concerns. I want other people to have time to chop, so I'm just going to chop some of this. None of this matters if we can't get this on fishing boats. So we have to make sure that once we've proven that this works, that we get support from governments so that early adopters can get this piece of equipment onto their vessels. We will still need lots of funding. And finally, oh yes, innovation is not about just technology. It's about people. And none of this would have been possible without all of these groups that are here, that have put up with an awful lot of being pushed around and tried to make us see this vision, even when it's been quite hard work. So I did want to particularly speak to Professor Amaya from Stirling University and to Lars and Martin from Optimar, and just get their perspective. If we've got a few minutes, I can get their perspective. So, Optimar, Amaya, do you want to come up here and we'll share a... Yeah, Amaya, you come up first then. Put this down now. Too many things. Come up. So, what were my questions? I had thought about questions for you. Right. Thank you for... We'll start with Amaya. Thank you for putting up with us for this time. What were you pleased to see when you were involved in the prototype test that we did at sea last year? And what do you hope to see when we get back to sea with the machine in March 2026?
I think for us, the first thing that I want to say is that it's been great to be part of this consortium. Normally, projects are driven, in many cases, by researchers that are trying to convince people that they have a problem. But in this case, the consortium was fully functional, it was going ahead, and so for our researcher, it was a dream situation to be part of that and to get some evidence data on what are the improvements for the animal. I think a lot of times we just make it we do lots of tests in the lab, but in this case, we did some tests on land. We went to Millport and we spent there a week, and we were testing, okay, what are the neurological differences that we find in the animals when they go through the electrical stunning process? Is that going to be an improvement from a welfare perspective? And then being able to see the real prototype, the first prototype in the vessel, and actually try to get some data out of that new environment. So it's really nice to have seen how the technology has been developing, and also the type of data that you can get, which is not always the same. As you move forward, you have less capacity to interact with the technology, but because you were there from the start, then you can understand how things are moving.
That's great. So you have high hopes for next spring as well.
I do.
And if you don't mind passing that to Lars. Lars, I bet you and Martin wished you hadn't come for coffee and all those years ago when we said, we have a problem. I mean, we were asking you to make machinery for vessels that don't have this kind of machinery. It's very small. We're talking 15 to 17 metre, quite old boats. How has it been for you?
Challenging, of course, but also very interesting to learn about the new industry for us, new type of vessels, new people, different way of working that we are used to with big trawlers. So it's been very interesting.
So what have the difficulties been, and what's your biggest headache now?
Biggest
Don't
headache.
say me, because I know I'm your biggest headache, but yeah.
Biggest issue now is, it's space, it's capacity, it's the way things are done. Replicating that to automate it, it's difficult. So yeah, a lot of complex issues, often intertwined. You think you solve one, but another one pops up that you mentioned. So yeah.
Well, Optimar did not have to take this on, and we are so grateful that they did, and we're all in it together. There will be difficult times ahead, I'm sure, but because of people, and what a great group of people, we've got this far, and hopefully we're standing here whenever you have your next meeting, and we can actually show you that we're working. But thank you very much, and to the platform particularly. Thank you.